Okay. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Chelas con Chavos. I'm your co-host, John, and here once again with Miguel. We got a special guest this episode. Oh, we got to hit it up.
Yeah,
Repeat. Hey, that's the DJ right there at the Las Fiestas right there. Like, hey!
That wasn't supposed to happen.
But everybody, we have a special guest tonight. He's going to pop up hopefully soon, but before that happens, we're going to talk about some world soccer news. What's been going on here in San Diego, and a match that occurred yesterday with the Pumas and Seattle Sounders, which was a intense match, But what's up, Miguel? ¿Qué pasa, man?
No, nothing, man. Just trying to get trying to process everything that kind of happened yesterday. I felt the shift of American soccer, just kind of go tilt a little bit towards the American way. Like for the longest time, we always had this dominance over American leagues and teams and national teams, and now that the Sounders won it was pretty decisive. They the culture in North America has definitely shifted towards the United States, I feel.
Didn't Toronto win it a couple years ago, or am I wrong?
No, actually, so I believe this is the first non-Liga MX team that has won the CONCACAF Champions League. I know before when it was like the Campeón de Campeones Cup, or when it was kind of like a smaller tournament, when the Mexican teams didn't really have any incentive to send their best teams, you would see like small teams like Saprissa win, and a lot of the smaller I think it was like the Trinidad and Tobago team that kind of won. But ever since it became the CONCACAF Champions League, it's been very steadily, like very dominantly won by Mexican teams. And then last night that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, I'm not of MLS, of all the teams I watch most of, and it kind of sucks because we can't watch LAFC games here in Galaxy matches, but I've been following like Portland, because they have those matches. But we'll get to that a little bit later, because we have a special guest here, and we want to have his opinion on this too. So Miguel, whenever you want to get our special guest on here.
Yeah. So we were very, very, very happy to have a friend of the Chavos show up with us today. We're talking with Chris from the Black Diamond.
That's the new crew. That's the newest Warriors group right there.
Yeah, hey y'all, look at that. Like if I ever move back to SoCal, we'll make another chapter, right?
Yeah, sorry about that, man. But it was so the Black Diamond's independent supporter group from New Mexico United. Chris, welcome. It's been about a year since we seen you. I think we saw you last time when New Mexico came down last season.
Right.
How you been, man? How's life in New Mexico?
It's good, man. Life out here is good. I miss SoCal definitely. My folks are out in Riverside, so it's been a minute since I've been out there. I guess Christmas time. So
it's a good time to come out.
What's that?
It's a good time to come out.
Yeah, man, definitely. I don't know the next time I'm coming out. It's usually just sporadic sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, Chris, how you doing? My name is John. I've obviously heard you speaking a lot, and I know of you, but I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you. So welcome on the show.
Right on, man. Thank you for having me on. I'm gonna go ahead and pop a beer to you guys right here.
Oh yeah, you got the Chelas right here too, Papa. Yeah. Right here. Nice. With the loyal cheers to everybody.
Love it.
So we're actually very excited to have you on, man. So for those that don't know of Black Diamonds, tell us a little bit of how you guys got started. What is your driving force behind? Like, is it community? Is it events? Just give us a little bit of background about it.
Yeah, Black Diamonds is really, it's crazy because I've talked about it a lot, you know what I mean? But it always kind of comes back to real sentiments to me, which is being a black supporter here in New Mexico. There are really not a lot of black soccer supporters here, and soccer, for one, in America really is not heavily marketed through black advertisement, if you will. So you're not really seeing soccer pumping through. You're seeing basketball and football,
Yep.
right? And for the most part. And so after taking in a soccer match here, and of course I've been exposed to a few prior to the inception of this team, I was really like, this is something that I think more folks could enjoy, right? Like more black folks could enjoy. And I had gone back to work after really pumping up the team real loud at my work. And a lot of the other gents there were like, what's soccer? And I was like, wait, what? Like, because unless you've kind of been exposed to it, like, I mean, most people that I've come across have been exposed to soccer by the 98 World Cup for about 42-ish, right? And so that was like maybe that moment for you. And so it just kind of became a thing. I was like, okay, well, I really don't want anyone else to have to live like 40 years of their life or so and not be exposed to the game. And it's such a beautiful game at that. So it became a mission for that point to make sure that we can definitely like kind of see like the black community come into the soccer community as well, just as much as like the soccer community is like going like into the black community, right? Like the mission kind of furthered because what it became is, folks sometimes really consume black culture as kind of a destination, right? I mean, besides things like listening to the music or there's the fashion, there's the food, right? And so, when you're looking for ribs, you're going to that spot, and it's just, it becomes, we like in kind of like learned behaviors. We have these seasonal habits that we do, right? Like today is Cinco de Mayo. So folks are like, boom, I got to get my taco plates and I got to get my jarritos or whatever it is, right? But I mean,
Modelo beer.
Yeah. And then the real ones, it may be different than that anyways, right? But that's just what folks think that they got to do, So, so when it came to Black Diamonds, it was like, okay, well, one, we need to normalize black culture because at the time that this is all kind of happening is like right in the midst of, Black Lives Matter kind of rising up, police brutality being a thing. And so it's like, man, how can I contribute to like some of the activism that's happening? I didn't really grow up being an activist, but I knew that I wanted to find my voice in it all. And so the way I knew how was just, I was like, well, I mean, I had been exposed to supporters culture through the curse. And I was like, well, I wonder if I could start a group like that. And I had come across a group at the same time called Featherstone Flamingos, the supporters group for Forward Madison on League One and Madison. And so I was like, wow, there is a group like that. How can I do one like this? And so, I went through kind of like what seemed like different steps, like, did I need to gather the blessing from the curse? Is that like the permission I had to get to be able to do a group like this? Did I have to ask the club if they were okay with it? Like, do you know what I mean? There's just a lot of, did I need to ask for permission to do something that completely obviously was like from the heart and was for a good purpose and good intention and to need to be understood? And obviously in all those roads, it was like, no, like no one, everyone was like, dude, do what you got to do. And so, it just became about timing. So Black Diamonds, as it stands, what we're seeking to do, obviously, is remove the barriers that make soccer inaccessible to our community, to make the game really more for, a lot of black youth, black and brown youth, right? Like make the game accessible to them. Another thing is getting the folks into the games, like, hey, we've created this space for you. It's safe. Like, come enjoying this game is for you. Like, there are folks that look like you inside the game. And, and just the cherry on top is like the team signed like 8 players, from Africa, more or less, or other some other dual citizens. But, obviously, being black, So the team has a lot of of the black community, I think, and representation on the team. And so it's like,
Yeah.
what year better than this year to come in and really see that there is someone that looks like you on the pitch, and there are folks that look like you in the stands, and
Of
we want you to
course.
come join.
Yeah, of course. And just to chime in there, that's those are great words right there. With the culture too, right? Like in the fans, how you just said that there's people that look like a diverse background, look like you, that love the
Right.
same sport, and you already know that. But when you go to a supporters or a gathering, or everyone's there for a soccer team cheering in, everyone is just together, right? Like the soccer culture and supporters group culture it's just such unity in it that how you brought up about like the food and stuff. And that's why me and Miguel were talking about this a lot too, about our stadium situation over here, just because we've tailgated over when SD Loyal played against LA Galaxy, and then when the SD Loyal played against Albion. But the tailgating atmosphere just brought a lot of us together, because the locals showed up and we're carne asada and stuff like that, and then everybody was different backgrounds. Everybody was just coming together and having fun. And there might be some people like that in the community that are from different neighborhoods that really don't feel that at school, or high school, or college. But once they go and support the New Mexico United or any soccer club in their city, they're gonna feel that, and that's why I think it should grow. And I think you're doing a great thing.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's cool. It's like I said, to be able to be on the scene and kind of develop a dynamic is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to. I think we're slowly but surely trying to develop our tailgate as like being like I would say like being like in the South, like my grandfather's like backyard party. You know what I mean? Like right
Yeah.
now the music is all like new age because the DJs are real young, but there's gonna be that moment when like like George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelics comes on, or you know what I mean, like your
Hell yeah.
parents' music. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah. Yeah.
When it comes on, and like it's gonna feel like real, like like real old school.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and that definitely builds it builds a momentum, especially for your club and your supporters. And you see that like like in cities like Atlanta, right? Just the hip hop culture is just entrenched in that team. And I actually had a question to you about so New Mexico, actually Albuquerque, actually the entire state of New Mexico has always been it's been a very blue collar state, right? You never really hear a whole lot coming out of New Mexico. You never really see a lot coming out of New Mexico. But with New Mexico United, it feels like that is a team that the entire, not just the city of Albuquerque, that the entire state is behind. For you, somebody that lives there, and sees that every day, how is that like? How's that been able to see? Coming from your eyes, how a single soccer team, a USL team at at anywhere, that has
right.
been able to revitalize the community.
I think the community grasps onto any of its products, right? You were saying like things coming out of New Mexico, and I thought the same way too. But I mean, a good amount of the movie scene or movie industry is shot here in New Mexico. They
Oh,
have
right.
they
I
have
did not know that.
Netflix here. Um, they have a Facebook location here.
Oh,
Um, so
Mm.
they definitely shoot movies here for sure. And then the other thing too is like, I mean, you got Jackson's, Jackson Wink, like you know what I mean, like Wink, so you got MMA fighters that fight out of New Mexico, out of Albuquerque. In fact, Holly Holm
Yeah.
is here, John Jones is here. You know what I mean? So you got those folks that are here too. Um, uh, but as far as like how people are really coming behind the team, I mean, it is the new thing. But it is doing so much in the community that it's just so easy for the average like New Mexican to be behind the team. And some days you get to see kind of what y'all see like in Cali, where you see like all, depending on how deep you are. Obviously you're in San Diego, so you'll see all the little Padre like stickers and the little like the SD everywhere, and the colors are in people's daily wardrobe, even if it's like shirt and tie or whatever the
Right.
vibe is. we definitely see a lot of that here. We see the yellow shields on vehicles. Almost every other seems like sometimes you see people working in the wardrobe. The culture like transverses into like food restaurants. They got the yellow and black cookie somehow, or you know what I mean. Like so, it's like people really grasp onto it, and New Mexico is just Mexico United's just really had real positive impact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's how it is. But I mean, there's so many other things here, man. The chili is like the thing. Like
the hatch chili.
Yeah, you got to have that green chili here. You got to have. It's all about red or green or Christmas, as we like to get down and have a little bit of both. There's a lot of secrets in New Mexico. You just gotta cross over into it, and then you'll see all the gems.
I've always heard Albuquerque is like a very artsy town too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of. I haven't had a chance to go, but I'm definitely gonna try to go. Maybe next season if I can for the low game or even just to visit. But how did you specifically get into soccer? Like, what was what brought your passion to the game?
Yeah, I mean, so when I was younger, I mean, I was exposed to it. Like I said, the '98 World Cup was a very good entry point. I think the thing I noticed about that I take away was the world stopped when soccer was playing. Right, anytime the game was being played, the world stopped, and during that time we were in wars. You know what I mean? So that was a time where when they were playing, when the U.S. was playing, it was like everyone was like, okay, we got to stop and watch this. And so that was the first kind of exposure point. And then of course, MLS came around, LA Galaxy came around. So then it was like, okay, boom, there's a team. Like I'm gonna try to follow this team. But I didn't really know anything about the game that way, other than I was just like, man, why are these games inconsistency? They're really long.
Yeah.
Like they're 90 minutes, but why are they ending at 98 minutes? Like, what is that about? And we're just running around trying to get like one goal. Like, what's the vibe? So it didn't. No one really explained it to me. And I mean, as I got older, went to college, I had roommates that were all scholarshiped at Stanislaus State. So I was around soccer players that were playing for the college, and so it was. I just, I just watched it. It was just like, I by that time, it's like, okay, we're trying to score goals here. Know that much, right? And then after that, I think I just kind of went away from it. Really, it wasn't anything that I was playing. And so then, of course, hearing about United, but before that, there was Albuquerque Soul here, and
oh, that's right.
Yeah, Albuquerque Soul and also Albuquerque FC, really the same season, the year before United. So I just really follow them. You know what I mean? I follow them. I wrote articles on them. I try to interview them. Just try to really kind of, just kind of bring some coverage to those teams. And then United came, and so slowly but surely I worked myself into covering the team as well on an independent podcast. And, kind of the rest was history. But I probably have how do I want to say it? Like consumed a lot of soccer in twice as amount of the time because I'll be up like kind of later, or I'm just really looking for, hey, what is this called? What is that called? I'm trying to watch as much soccer as possible.
You're playing catch up. You're playing lifetime catch up. Yeah, that's really cool, man.
It's addicting. And we were mentioning earlier before you came on, Chris, about the match yesterday. I'm not sure if you saw it. Was the CONCACAF, Champions Final was against Pumas and Seattle Sounders. And did you happen to watch that game? Did you notice like the vibe, just like the craziness that was going on at the stadium?
Yeah, I was like kind of switching over a little bit because it was at the same time as like the United game in Sacramento. So it was like the clock was just about the same. So, but yeah, I was definitely switching over, and it looked nuts. You know what I mean? It looked nuts. So I can imagine.
Yeah. So speaking of the United matchup, how did that go?
So yeah, we just ended up basically like locked up in a 0-0 draw. So still in a point on the road, but I mean, from a United perspective, United fan perspective, supporters perspective, I think that it's like we have lost a few, we've drawn some, so there's that imminent need for a win, for 3 points, for seeing the team just be able to kind of come out and be as aggressive as they were when they first jumped off. And definitely this is a early season challenge for our new head coach, Zach Prince, which I think is good because he's got to figure out kind of how to break through. And, and the contrast of his style and our former coach, Troy Lessane's style, is that Troy Lessane might wait 10 games to kind of get a good sample of the team, kind of evaluate what it is. But Zach is like very much like, I can't wait 10 games. If I've waited 10 games, that could be too late. He's just steadily after it, after each one. And you see it on his face when the camera pans to him. He's just, he's just like, that's just not it, So, I mean, I'm for it. Like, I wondered how he would do, and I wondered if promoting within versus going for someone who's got the resume was going to be the right thing. But I mean, he's showing that tenacity, so I'm behind it.
Yeah, and when you hire from within, it kind of guarantees that culture stays. That team dynamic stays within your club. Definitely, wish him a lot of luck with that. But I mean, and when it comes to the seasons, I mean, we circle. I know myself. I always look at two teams right from the West. I look at we circle Phoenix and we circle you guys because for as long as I can remember, New Mexico's always been very consistent. They're always always like up there. And being new to the USL, that's I would say. I mean, your guys' attendance. I mean, you guys just sold out to over 10,000 tickets, right, for the Loyal game this weekend.
Right. Yeah. It'll be over 10. I wouldn't doubt if it's at 12 by the time 12 or 13 by the time it all like clocks out.
So speaking of that, how big is Isotopes Park?
Well, I think seats wise, I think it's like 1385 maybe is the 13,085 or something along those, or 500, and some is like the seats, but I think standing room only. You can oversell it and probably have about 15. I think we oversold it one time, maybe in the 19th season, and had close to about 15,000 in there.
Wow. Yeah. And how close are you guys to getting your own stadium?
The stadium went to vote last November, and so then that didn't pass. And so we're still obviously, looking for when it's going to happen. I mean, the owner has said that, they're still after it, and they just want to put the stadium where it's going to make sense, where the people want it. They're not going to try to go back and put it in the same place, which is unfortunate because it would have been really nice downtown. I had public transit heading in from different places, and and of course, there was the promise of the amount of jobs it could create, and then the fact that it would be used by so many other folks. And so I don't know. I mean, they say that teams got to have stadiums within 3 years, but I think also with this pandemic and such, I probably just weathered the storm in such a way that, who knows how long we could be. It could be like another 5 years. If for all we know, we could be the next 2 years. We just really haven't seen any more developments in it. And I think that all of our attention is focused on just the team and how they're doing this year. And I think that, that when they want us to see something, they'll start, directing us that way again.
We know that feeling all too well, man. Trust me.
Yeah, we're struggling ourselves too. And Chris, I was joking with Miguel too. It's I said, how many USL teams play at a baseball park? And right now, I'm just like, with what's going on with Midway, it's looking really complicated. What's going on with the SCSU Stadium, Snapdragon having 36 plus, seating there, and then Loyals, their attendance hasn't, it's been good, but we're like, last time I checked, we're like 17th, so it's been kind of dwindling down a little bit, even though we're playing really well, and that's one of my concerns. But I was just, talking to Miguel, and I was like, man, I wouldn't even mind just getting a freaking park, stadium in Chula Vista, and then just calling it our own, and then just going all out on it, and then having it be renovated, kind of how like the Rowdies, Outland Stadium is, or something like that. Even the Isotopes Park, So I wanted to ask you, like, so how's the I know it's Isotopes Park. Is there still? I believe there's still baseball being played there, right? But how is the ambiance there, being that it's we used to be a baseball park?
I mean, what still is? I mean, it's baseball.
Okay.
It's a baseball field. I mean, the ambiance is like a fortress, right? I mean, when we first came in, it was like a fortress. Like you just got the crowd participation and noise is there, and of course now the supporter section is growing because of more groups being formed. And I mean, I think it could be a hard place to play. I mean, I'm not gonna like the first year it was like that. I think then the second year, of course, through COVID, you couldn't really go to any matches, and then it was real limited. Like we had no home matches on 2020, right? Except for the game away from home in Colorado.
Yeah.
And then 2021 was like limited attendance. It was like maybe some 40-50% or whatever the vibe was until it kind of increased. So a little different. And then now it's like just full bore, right? And so, but you still have folks that are obviously very cognizant about the pandemic, so the numbers aren't like crossing 12s like easy, like just right off the bat, but there's still it's picking up, you know what I'm saying? So but I think the ambiance is there. I think when you come there, you're like, wow, there's a lot of people here, and especially for
Yeah.
a USL match, you're like, whoa, okay, because you go to Phoenix and it's like just shy of 5,000 or so at times, but you're coming here and it's like it has the potential to be,
Yeah.
13, 14 if it wants, 10 at the least.
Oh my god! I mean, you couldn't even imagine having like 15,000 people to watch it. It'd be nice to see it at a San Diego Loyal game for sure, man. That's definitely something to be proud of. And from so actually, so we know you from one of our fellow Chavo,
Right.
Chava, Veronica. Um, so and she actually mentioned something interesting that you guys don't have a president.
Yeah, so Black Diamonds itself is still very newish. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I launched it in June of 2021. I mean, the idea to conceive the group was June of 2019, but just the timing, being in the middle of the
Right.
season, then the pandemic kind of pushes things away, so you can't really congregate or build, right? And so, and then last year was just kind of a we just got to do it kind of thing. But yeah, no, it's not structured that way currently. It's structured more with like me kind of at the helm. There's like I have like a cadre of co-founders, other folks that were Black soccer supporters or in the community that may or may not always be at the games like I am. So like it was more about just forming kind of a leadership like group with them and being like, hey, and then everyone just kind of realized like, hey, Chris, you're probably going to be the face, but they're able to kind of contribute. We'll talk about things that are organizationally important. You know what I mean? Like whether or not we would affiliate with this or that, or imagery. We talk about things like of that nature. Things that are just very like culture binding. And so that's very specific to what we do with that. So it's like them. It'll be me. And then everyone is really just kind of like peers for the most part. So if someone really wants to take lead on a particular board area, because we have different ones, like we got match day ops, we got the whole end game, we got tailgate, we got watch party and socials and things of that nature. If folks want to take a lead, it's like they're able to take a lead, if that makes sense. And that's
Right.
just because, like I said, we're not set up where there's president vice and where there's things that are voted in at this point. And that might be something that comes in the future if we need it, but right now it's just about following the mission. We're good where we're at right now, and I think it's just all about like letting folks be able to kind of jump into spots and see what they like and what they what they feel like they can really contribute at. And I think for me the biggest part is getting to see people just really utilize their different talents or their different contributions. Like we had new members that joined maybe 3-4 weeks ago, and they're already contributing in a big way by helping us like do or pull off one of our tailgates, doing grilled cheese and such, and making cookies for it. And that was huge for us. I mean, like we're just real thankful of when people like lean into the vision like that, and so it's always cool to see it. I think that's what's going to kind of help me and help us as we keep going along to go, okay, like here we are now, boom, like what structure do we want to do? Because the other thing is like it needs to keep going, and
right.
For me, as something that I kind of like launched out there, there's a little bit of that concern, like I'd hate to be like, okay, yeah, go ahead, like who wants to try this next, and then it just doesn't go.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those things where I'm always going to kind of be in the space until there's people that can take it over and can run it the same way or better,
Yeah.
The next generation.
Yeah.
What you're starting, that's why what you're starting is important. And that's why, well, first of all, I really do appreciate you coming on, and I really appreciate when a lot of the New Mexico supporters came out to San Diego and really showed us some respect, and we showed them respect at the stadium and meeting up and stuff like that. But what you're doing is the beginning of something, and I feel like we have that type of connection there because we looked forward, or we looked up to, really, in essence, to what New Mexico United was doing. Just because in my opinion, they when I was getting into the USL, I was really respecting and really looking into what New Mexico was doing, and like their whole art, one of their whole marketing when it comes to the team and stuff like that. So
right.
You're starting something, and that's why us in Chavos, we feel like we're I'm one of the older guys, and I'm who knows, in 5 years I might be too old and be like, hey guys, I just can't do this no more. You know what I mean? And then you have to push it on to like some of our new Chavos that are like in their early 20s. You know what I mean? Trust me, yeah. I'm not in my 20s, even though I might look like I'm 15, but definitely in my 20s. But
I mean, but to be fair though, like I mean, I was also like looking at y'all too. Like when I was waiting to figure out how to launch. I mean, I was also looking at how y'all kicked off and what you guys did with your membership, and you know what I mean. So I was definitely looking at Chavos too. I'd say like, yeah, I was looking at obviously Featherstone Flamingos, and I was looking at the Flock, and then I looked at what you guys were kind of doing. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, it's good to just have the other like kind of culture groups out there, because it's really important, because the bigger groups, like, yeah, they could definitely like pay homage, or like, you know what I mean, to those cultures, but like they're not always going to be able to like focus in those areas, you know what I mean? And when you're like living that, it's easier for you to be like, well, this is kind of something that we're already doing. This is like already everyday life, so it's just kind of, it becomes, that vocation, but you just have to figure out a way to make it special, so where it's not mundane, or it's like, oh, okay, well, like, like it's, you know what I mean? Like it just can't ever like be drowned out.
Yeah. How are you guys' numbers looking right now? How you guys been?
We're good right now. We've got 142 members signed up. So it's been, it's still everyday discovery type thing. Like people who know us are because we either fall into the team's feed, or because we've got these like real bright pink scarves, you know what I mean, with the flare, you know what I'm saying? And but we just, I mean, like we gained members from something simple. Like we made a Women's History Month sticker. It was like a purple diamond, we just kind of purpled it out, and it was just kind of a tribute to that month. And we just gave them out to all the different women in the stadium, and, and that's what we did, and then eventually that became, like new members because they became curious about the group from that aspect, so.
Dude, that's awesome, and I can tell you right now that's how we've been growing as well. For the Chavos, we try to be as loud as possible, to the point where we're just like, you have to kind of force people to see us, right? You have to force people to kind of turn their head to us, and fortunately for us, we were able to actually get recognized. What about you guys? Were you guys officially recognized by New Mexico United as an official supporter group?
Yeah, like it's like, how do I put it? Like, we didn't have like any particular like standard in front of us to be recognized,
Okay.
But I mean, we launched as a group, and the whole we've been obviously like growing in membership and such, and so we're recognized kind of from the very beginning, to be honest. But we've recently joined Independent Supporters Council, so in that regard, we're kind of recognized a little bit more on a national base, amongst ISC, and being a member of that, along with like the curse as far as our club is concerned. So yeah, that's been it. I mean, we have a lot of like crewed up groups in the stadium too. We have sectional kind of groups, right? And I think the culture here is we would call you an SG or somewhat of a supporters group until you declare what it is you want to be seen as. So you got groups that are sectional groups, you got groups that are tailgate groups. You know what I mean? It's a good blend of a lot of different things, but like, but then I think when you get into like the nature of like Independent Supporters Council, like obviously they define what they would see a supporter group to be in that regard, right? Like, pulling a membership, and the overall purpose of the group, serving the community, things of that nature. So doing TIFO, right?
Yeah.
TIFO.
Exactly. Hey, Chris, so a couple things here I wanted to ask you. For one, before we get into other topics, I wanted to ask you, what do you think the prediction or the end result of your prediction is going to be for the matchup?
Yeah, how much are the Loyal gonna win
by? Hey, now, I mean, we need you guys to lose a bunch so you can have a second chance to come out to New Mexico this year.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, man, like this is real. It's real tough because like if you guys had hit us like in the first like 4 games of the season, we'd be like, oh, dude, we're gonna like we're just unstoppable. But the thing is like the roster is so good, man. Like this team is exciting to watch, and our first team in the first year was exciting to watch. I think we got returners the second and third, but like it was just missing something. And Nico Brett is like a big part of it. Nico Brett, Tabor Itaka, Ratty Ovuka. Like we got like some guys now, you know what I mean? And so there's some definite pace. Prediction wise, I just feel like it's been a little slow. This one's tough for me because I'm trying to be very honest and not bullshit you guys.
Well, just remember too that New Mexico they have 2 games in hand, so it's not they're not too much in the dumps right now. They're not doing too well at the moment, but they could beat us, they're at home, and then win another match, and they're up there.
Well, you remember the game we played against y'all last year, and y'all were definitely good with possession and able to turn up some scores. We were really good about allowing one or scoring one, right? And so in which we allowed the one, right, but then we were able to still hold you. There was the thing about San Diego having more possession, which that was a thing, and then we were able to find that late goal, right? And pull it even, right? So there was that. But I just think this could have a little bit of that. We've been playing in a back 3 lately, and I think that has been the contributor to like us not winning, because when you have teams that are coming up and are playing the left and right sides, then it starts to expose like the attributes of the players, right? So I kind of feel like it might be like a 1-1 draw, and that'd be like nothing no one wants to see in New Mexico. You know what I mean?
I know Chandler wants to see that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Chandler, exactly, right. Or Carson for that matter. But I mean, you know what I mean? But like I don't know. It's really hard to think that we're gonna pull the win, because y'all are definitely like, a good opponent too. So I don't know. I'd say 1-1 is probably a prediction I'm throwing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you, John?
Um, well, I mean, their loyals coming off of a long stretch of having a couple of games during the week, within like a 8 day period, like 3 games during 8 days or whatnot.
That was a
So they're
lot.
really getting rested. Yes, a lot of I want to say injuries, but I think some players are tired and stuff like that, and obviously there's a lot of waste, or a lot of energy was spent the past couple weeks, especially with the match against Albion in the Open Cup, and then the match against LA Galaxy. Then they have to travel all the way to New Mexico, and we traveled all the way, so
Right.
I really can't say. I know it's going to be a tough match because I know New Mexico is going to want to go for that win. Again, they got 2 games in hand, so they're almost like at the bottom of the table right now. But it doesn't really mean much right now because Loyals has 9 games played and New Mexico has 7. So it's you really can't look at it in that way. So I feel like New Mexico is definitely going to come out, and then they're going to have that home crowd, and just how we just talked about earlier, that they got a lot of tickets sold. The Landon Donovan's going to be there, so I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to see Landon Donovan, San Diego Loyal. So I think it's going to be a really tough atmosphere there, and it obviously helps. So I'm gonna call for a draw too, man. But I think I'm gonna go for 2-2 draw.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually it's not too bad. And actually, I'm Chris. I'm gonna kind of go off of what you said, and seeing as a New Mexico has been playing a back line of three, we I don't know if you've been watching much Loyal game, but we have a very strong offense. Our defense has been our weak point, and especially during away games, I mean the counterattack really kills us. And I mean we squeaked by Tampa Bay. I mean we lost to Tulsa, and it was just it was we're not a very good away team, and I think that's going to probably make a difference for you guys right there.
Right.
But I'm kind of going with John here. I'm going to go with like a 2-2 tie. Um, it just feels like it feels like our defense just isn't there yet, and you guys need a win. You guys need a
Yeah.
win. You guys have a good team, and you guys are going to be at home. But at the same time, I feel like our offense can probably get us there. I mean, Cal Vassell, that guy's he is on another level, man.
It's a
And then
Yeah.
beast.
and then hopefully Thomas Amang comes back. That guy has been, he's a little workhorse too, and it's just like, oh my god, man. Um,
Yeah. It's going to
but
be interesting
yeah,
to see it happen because I mean, obviously, it's to be like San Diego Loyals first time in the stadium,
hmm
and I think it's just perceived that like the supporters are just like so chill to each other, but it's like
Yeah.
you just really haven't. You just wonder like what it's going to be, right? Because I mean, like El Paso immediately was a derby, and
yeah,
there's just something about that for New Mexico because it's either going to be like within the state, it's like it's the whole like Rio Grande rivalry of the Battle of I-25, so it's like always going to be like New Mexico State, or it's El Paso versus New Mexico as a rivalry, right? And so that was an instant thing, and then of course Phoenix was like, oh, here's a team that has been doing it. They're one of the best. We came in there the first year and put 3 on them, and of course they put 3 on us, and it just became a thing, right? Like it just became this rivalry. Even though you guys have more registered wins on them, like our folks just we just see it that way, and we think Phoenix kind of sees it that way, or they try to feed it right so that it would be something, and then y'all go in and like put a few on them, and then it's just it's like they can't really hold the torch to y'all. And I don't know if I don't know if the census is right now, like with the whole San Diego New Mexico thing, you know what I mean? But I feel like low key, like there needs to be some sort of like there needs to be some sort of cup series between like Phoenix, San Diego,
now you're
El
talking
Paso, and New Mexico, like some sort of thing,
it's almost like the like Cascadia Cup, almost. Yeah, something like called the Southwestern or something like that.
It needs to be something because I mean, like we're like ally teams. Those teams are kind of like ally teams to each other because they're both like kind of the ultra supporter group kind of teams. You know what I mean? Like they're like they're both of our enemies, but they're friends to each other because of the fact that they shared one thing in common. You know, so it's just
we should
just
probably involve. Yeah, we should probably involve El Paso and maybe RBG too. Then there'd be like called the Rio Grande Cup or something like that. I don't know, something crazy like that, right? Yeah, the border cup.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. No, that'd be super awesome, man. No, but no, definitely, we definitely appreciate the the fact that you were able to come on and talk a little bit about, what your group does, how you guys got started. Um, I know you talked about it earlier, but you guys definitely are one of the groups that we actually looked up to. When we were doing all this stuff, just the fact that we were able to. And you guys, I can see you guys are kind of doing the organic thing. The fact that you guys don't have a president, you're not forcing it. It's just it's going to get to a point where people are going to show up and people are they're going to stand up and they're going to take ownership of certain aspects of your SG. And it's we definitely do see a bright future for your group for sure.
Right on, right on.
Yeah, anybody who's an enemy of Chandler is my best friend. You know what I mean? So,
right. Is that?
Cheers to that.
That's right.
But Chris, you're more than welcome anytime you're in San Diego to hit us up in Chavos. We're always doing something. One of us, either someone's DJing at a club, or we're having drum circles somewhere, just hanging out, or someone wants to have a barbecue. We're always doing something. So you're more than welcome. You and the Black Diamonds to come out, and hit us up sometime. During
we
summer.
Always have that beach day. We could always have
man.
that game. That was a lot of fun that one day.
Oh yeah, man, Fiesta Island, that was good.
Yeah, we could do some anti Chandler, tifos and stuff, draw them together and stuff. We just exchange them.
Right.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, man, we got to find a.
Yeah, they'll hate that so much.
Oh yeah, exactly. Just
I want to do it now, so let's do it at the beach.
And don't get me wrong, but come this Saturday, you guys, it is what it is. We're playing against each other and stuff like that, but I think there's definitely mutual respect between both clubs and all of our SGs. Like the locals, the Curse, you guys, and then us. So it's definitely one of those respectful rivalries where it's like we know who you guys are, and I think you guys have a good idea of who we are as well. So we definitely dig that.
Hey, right on. That's cool.
Yeah, well, let's see how the match goes, guys. If you guys are depending on her and talk, after match and see how things went. So we'll just talk.
Sounds good. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All
right, fellas. Well, thank you again, Chris.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. All right, hey, thanks everybody. And don't forget, Ron Newman Cup final this Sunday. San Diego Soccer's going for Sweet 16. Man, that's the only championship we have. We need people to come out. So yeah, come and join the Blue Rose if you can. Indoor soccer, man, gotta love it.
All right, let's do it. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great night.
Later.